And welcome to another episode of Gamerheads. My name is Roger, aka Rogue Leader 76, and with me are my co-host Christian,
aka Fulgan.
And sitting in for B again this week, we have Karrington.
Hey, aka Desert Fury 90.
That was good.
That was pretty good. That was like almost as good as a Patrick voice.
Oh, I feel honored for getting like almost Patrick-like status.
Yeah,
Probably not as, almost. He's fantastic, and he's a fantastic guest also.
Yes, he is. So welcome back, Karrington.
Why, thank you.
So this is kind of funny, and the listeners won't know this, but like we actually recorded this episode, and now we're re-recording it. So
Indeed. And also don't forget the fact that we are also recording this one early in the morning, and I am working on 2 hours of sleep right now.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about why you're only working on 2 hours of sleep, Karrington. What did you do last night?
So let me preface this by saying it is a holiday weekend, so I've got some time on my hands right now. So a friend of mine, she invited me to go out with her and her friends.
Girlfriend?
She's not my girlfriend. She's not my wife. She's a friend that is a girl. She invited me out and to a silent disco party where you've got 3 DJs on the stage, and you're given these pair of headphones, and you tune in to whichever DJ you want that's, just popping and killing it, and you dance to it. And so everyone is listening to something different, and it was actually surprisingly a lot of fun. I mean, it sounds really weird. I was skeptical going in, that's for sure. But it was actually a lot of fun. The DJs were on point, which is...
Wow. And
I noticed something also last night. I grew up listening to a lot of like 70s, 80s, 90s stuff. But the friends I was with, the group I was with, they stayed in like the theme last night was generation music. So that you had your choice between 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Mm-hmm. I noticed the group I was with, they stayed in like the 2000s. But I grew up listening to the stuff my parents listened to. Mm-hmm. So I stayed in the 80s and 90s most of the time. I'm like, man, you guys are weak. This is some good stuff over here. And they thought I was crazy.
Dude,
wow.
That sounds so lit.
That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
That sounds weird. So how many people show up to this thing? Like, where is this held? Like in a town square or something? What? Where do you do this?
So it was at actually a venue I've been to a few concerts at. It's actually a bar, and in the back of the bar, there's a nice size stage. So it was in that area over there where the stage was.
Crazy. That's cool though. That's cool. That sounds fun.
It was great. It was a great time.
So
that's for sure. I'm supposed to be going back again in a few weeks, but we'll see if that happens because I got invited to see an indie band. They invited me to come see them play the same night. So we'll see what happens.
Wow. Are you allowed to tell what band that is?
Sure. They're called Go Analog. They're local to the Columbus area, and I have seen them twice. One of them being just a couple months ago, which was when they invited me to come see them play again in October.
Wow. How did you manage that?
So the first time I saw them back in 2014, they opened for a band called Lieutenant. I know that name means nothing, but it means a lot to me because the Foo Fighters bassist, Nate Mendel, that was his like project that he did when the Foo Fighters were on a hiatus, and he came to Columbus. Fantastic. But this band, Go Analog, they opened for the Lieutenant, and got a picture with them, talked with them. They were a lot of fun. So when I saw them this past year, just a couple months ago, after they were done playing their set, went backstage and was like, and as soon as I made eye contact with the lead singer, he was like, "You." And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You've seen us before." And I was like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. He was like, "At the Basement," which is the name of the venue. And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, I remember you." And then my sister was with me, and he was like, "I remember you too." And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "We took a selfie together, right?" And I was like, "Yes." And then from there, we just kind of hit it off.
Wow. That's Karrington, you live the high life, man. Let me tell you.
You do?
I live. I just have a saying that I say all the time when I'm out there doing something like that. I'm just out here living, man.
Just out there living.
Hmm?
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. Just out here living.
I think I will. And I usually have like a catchphrase when I go out. When I go out of town as well, but that's a different time for a different story.
Okay. Christian, would you say that you're out there living?
No, I'm
Yeah,
in
me
here
either.
living,
Yeah, me
playing
too.
video games.
Ooh.
Yep. Playing
There you
video
go.
games and writing reviews.
Exactly.
I'm
Toiling
surprised
away.
I find enough time to play these games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of reviews, this week we actually have a really big episode this week. We have we're going to be reviewing the video game, the VideoKid, the game that we got from Pixel Trip Studios. Thank you so much for the review code. So we'll be talking about that game, and then later on in the episode, we'll actually be interviewing Adam Jeffcoat, and from Pixel Trip Studios. So we'll be talking about the game, yeah, we'll have some news items to cover. But before we get into all of that, I do have an icebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
Lay it on me, my man.
What video game world would you like to live in?
Now, question, because this goes a long way.
Yes.
If we live in this world, are we living in this world as ourselves or as a character? And not a character, but maybe like where we look out of place in the video game world we are choosing.
You're going to be living in that world as yourself. But it wouldn't be odd for you to live in that world, I guess. So nobody would think differently if you lived in that world.
Okay. Because I was thinking like Animal Crossing, but there aren't a whole lot of humans in Animal Crossing. I mean, I wasn't thinking that, but that just came to my mind.
Oh, sure. Yep. No, you'd be fine living in the world.
Okay. I don't know. I've never really thought about this question before.
Really? I think about this all the time. I'm just kidding. I don't.
I mean, I was just thinking the other day, actually, how cool it would be to be in the world of Destiny, because I love the gear that they have on and stuff. And I take a lot of pride in the gear that my hunter has, because he has a certain look because to me, I think he looks cool, because right now, his elbows have like these knives on each elbow, and I'm like, man, that just looks sick. I would love to have something. And plus, hunters get capes. Who wouldn't want to wear a cape?
That's true. That's true.
Awesome.
Okay, so Destiny for Karrington. What about you, Christian?
If I had to pick one, I would probably choose The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Cyrodiil, I think it's called, just because
Yes, sir.
I've played that game so much. I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours in that game, and I really would like to go back to it again. And if I can't do that, I might as well just live there, because it's just a lot of fun. You can get away with stealing and murdering as long as the little eye is closed and there's no guards around to see ya. And you can drink skooma to your heart's content.
Wow.
This is true. Now, because you picked that world, does that mean like the entire country, I guess, of Tamriel is open to you? Like, can you go to Morrowind? Can you go, to Skyrim as well? Or are you just confined to Cyrodiil?
I would be perfectly fine being confined to Cyrodiil
Okay.
for the purposes of this thought experiment. But yeah, I don't have a lot of Morrowind nostalgia. I've never played Morrowind for more than like 5 hours, and I don't have...
Oh, my heart. My heart.
I've played Skyrim a lot, but I just prefer Oblivion.
Okay. Well, have you played Elder Scrolls Online?
I was
Because
just gonna ask that.
Yeah.
all of those are in there, actually.
Yeah, I played it for like 10 or so hours. MMOs are just a really big time investment.
Oh, yeah. This is very true.
Thank you. Thank you for affirming me, Karrington.
You're very welcome. And with something like Elder Scrolls Online, that is a lot of time you have to, not like WoW type time, but there is still a lot of time that goes into that.
Yeah.
Do you play that game, Karrington?
Maybe.
What do you play it on, PC, or do you play, or I have it on PS4. That's the reason I ask.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I have it on Xbox.
Oh, you have an Xbox, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it on PC? I don't know.
Yes. That's where I have it.
That's where you have it. Okay. Cool. So actually, Karrington, you already said mine. I would be living in Animal Crossing for sure. Because how cool is it that you could just go around and like just pick fruit and be like, all right, I'm going to pay off my house with just picking fruit and turn that money in. And and really there's no like threat of, I don't know, like bill collecting or anything. You just pay it when you want to pay it. Like, how cool is that? And especially,
and when you do pay it off, you get an upgrade on your house. That doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah,
exactly. That is like that's the best world to live in, man. Tom Nook, I mean, yeah, he can be a little bit of a shitty character, but yeah, he's not going to come after you. He's not going to send thugs after you for sure. So, not that I've ever experienced
or will
that.
he?
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
His two nephews.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Just wait for the sequel.
Yeah. So yeah, listeners, let us know what world you want to live in or what would like to live in, video game world. You can email us. Christian, how can people email us?
They can email us at info@gamerheadspodcast.com.
That's right. Or you can go on Twitter at GamerheadsPC or find us on Facebook. And where's that, Christian?
Facebook.com/GamerheadsPodcast.
Yeah. So reach out to us. We love to hear from you. So, all right. Let's go on to our news then. So the Gamerheads News Flash. The first item that I have here is coming from CBS Sports. NHL players are playing too much Fortnite, and it's distracting them.
Are you sure this isn't just you, Roger?
Souls.
It is not me because I do not play Fortnite. Nor am I in it. I guess I should clarify, I'm not an NHL player either.
Maybe that's your problem because you don't play Fortnite.
True.
Therefore, which is why you're not in the NHL.
That's true. If I start playing Fortnite and I practice really, really hard, I may make the NHL.
I do find that interesting though, because I know gaming in the sports world is not a new thing. Because I know plenty. Well, I don't know them personally, but I've heard stories that baseball players, NHL players, basketball players, football players, they all play sports games at least because I guess they have a lot of downtime in between games and stuff, and when they're not practicing. So this isn't playing games isn't new, and I know like when Halo and Call of Duty comes out, I hear those games are also very popular amongst the athletes. I just find it interesting that Fortnite is such a problem now that their NHL is wanting to try and do something about it.
Yeah. In the article, it said that one of the top top drafts actually is playing so many video games, is so addicted to games that they actually may not even be able to play in it. They might just get kicked off the team because they might not make the team because of the fact that they're playing too many games. They're ruining their chances for their career in the NHL. So that's crazy. I know that we talked about addiction of video games in the past, and now the World Health Organization has deemed it as a disease. But it's weird. I don't know. I don't think I've ever played games where I'm so addicted to a game that I can't stop playing, or that would hinder anything in my life, I guess.
Yeah. I long for the middle school days where I'd lock myself up and just play my PS3 into the wee hours of the night and the morning. I think there was one occasion where I always idolized Call of Duty DLC because I never had the economic capital to actually pay for any Call of Duty DLC. And there was one time where I got a PSN card and the stars aligned, and it lined up with a DLC release for Call of Duty Black Ops 1. And it had a zombies map, which was like Call of the Dead or something. It was like the snow map or something. And George Romero was there. And I don't know what it was, but that I could have just played that forever. I probably played it for 10, 12 hours straight. And that was one of the very few occasions where I just played video games until my thumbs hurt.
Wow. That's crazy. I don't.
Are we just gonna skip the fact that he said he was playing the PS3 in middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That hurts.
I'm sorry.
That hurts.
Dude, it hurts you. Look, think of me. I'm like, I'm old enough to be his dad. That is the crazy part about it.
Thanks, Dad.
That's weird.
Yep. But I'm young enough to be his friend in heart, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. That's
technically, Roger, you could be my dad too. It'd just be really weird.
Yeah, it would be really weird. That would be really weird. Karrington, have you played games until the wee hours of the night? Morning?
I have, but I'm very selective about it. That's just how I've always been. Because one thing about myself, when I lack sleep, like I am right now, usually I'm really cranky.
Oh boy.
So normally I know this about myself. Where I'm like, I need to stop because I need sleep. Otherwise, I can't function like a normal human being.
Totally.
Yeah. I played games late. I just don't feel like I'm ever been addicted where I can't put down a game. That's all. That it would hinder like my work or anything. I mean, I will say that I know some people that would play WoW and they played it so much that they actually broke up with their girlfriend because of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and would call in sick to work because of it. But that was
Is
that was
this
a while
person
back.
you, Roger?
No. No,
As he says, shyly.
No, it's not me. That's
How
not
did you
me.
guys know?
Yeah, no, it's not me.
Exposed.
Yeah, no, it's not me. I mean, I played WoW, but I was not that addicted to WoW. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I never got past like level 20 in WoW, I don't think.
Wow.
I think that's as high as I got my character is like level 20. I don't know. Yeah, so that's the first item. This next item here is from GameSpot. Spider-Man will take about 20 hours to complete the full game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the straight through the game, not doing any kind of side activity, side quest or anything.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I
me
just
too.
can't hide it. Ooh, I cracked right there. That was not good.
Oh no.
Oh, man. Well, I'm sorry, Phil. He's singing again. I can't help it. So.
Oh no.
You should have heard me last night. Hey. At the disco.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you clarified that.
Yes, at the disco.
I'm very excited for Spider-Man.
I am too.
20 hours feels like a nice, good, sweet spot, I think, for a full AAA $60 PlayStation exclusive, and the 20-hour completion time means it is very close in the length to God of War, which came out on PS4 earlier. And my goal is to beat Spider-Man PS4 on release weekend. So I did that with God of War. Now it's time to do it with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You got this. I have faith in you, Christian.
Thank
I
you,
do too,
Karrington.
man.
It starts
know,
Friday.
Yeah. Did you take off Friday? I forgot. Did you tell me you took off Friday?
I did.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
So did I, but for a different reason.
Oh.
Different reason, yeah.
Okay. Another disco or something? Or what?
No. Cincinnati Comic Expo.
Cool.
Is that next weekend? No, I'm sorry. That is the following weekend, so never mind.
Wow.
Disregard.
Yeah. I'm excited about this game. I did not take off on Friday, but I'm excited about this game.
Hype.
Hype
Spider-Man.
is real.
Oh, yeah. Speaking about
I can
Spider-Man. Go ahead, Karrington.
I was just going to say really quick, like I remember the days when it was the norm for to complete a game, 15 of
Exactly.
25, 30-ish hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I noticed games were making the switch to the 6 to 10 range, I was very, very upset. So it's just weird to see a headline now be like, hey, our game is 20 hours long. I'm like, hey, I remember when that was the norm.
Yeah.
Or you're playing Octopath Traveler and it's going to take you like 60 to 80 hours to beat. So
Yeah, they still make those really long games for sure. Like Yakuza 0,
For
that's 42 hours of my life gone.
yeah, but you enjoyed it.
I did.
Yeah.
But speaking of Spider-Man, did you guys hear about the puddles in the Spider-Man game?
No,
I did.
I saw the headline on it. Talk about it.
Yeah, this kind of ties into the NVIDIA graphics cards discussion we had, because it has to do with reflections.
Yeah.
And that they got rid of a puddle, or they like moved a puddle that was initially in their E3 gameplay reveal. So everyone noticed that, and they pointed at it, and they're like, graphical downgrade. What are you guys doing? You guys are lying about your pretty game. We are sick of the lying about the pretty games at E3. You did it with Witcher 3. You did it with Watch Dogs. Now you're doing it with Spider-Man. Come on, this game's going to blow.
Yeah.
But I guess
that was my response to no, kidding.
Yeah, I think it's not a big deal. I mean, it's just probably for performance purposes, they just moved the puddle. Because like I said, reflections are very performance intensive.
Yeah.
Indeed. And by the way, Christian, I enjoyed that little bit, I guess, about graphics cards last time.
Oh, yeah.
Because me, as a listener, I was saying it out loud. Like when Roger was like, I'm kind of clueless. And then Christian, you were like explaining everything. And I'm like, yes, he's saying it right. Yes. Go, Christian.
Oh,
go.
really?
You got this. You got this. Yeah.
Are you pretty knowledgeable on that end of things too, Karrington?
I am.
Wow. Well, we'll have to talk the dirties about graphics cards sometime.
Yeah.
Ooh,
How about you guys have a
chills.
separate podcast to talk about the ins and outs of video game graphic cards, and I will sit that one out. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, Roger, you'll just listen from afar and call us nerds.
That's right. Like I did
I'm
the
okay
other
with
day.
that.
Okay. Let's see the other items that I have here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Spending on video games increased 40% in the first half of 2018.
Ooh.
The majority of that spending came from video game software, which includes mobile and
Microtransactions.
Yeah, right. $16.9 billion.
Jeez.
Wow.
And mobile games saw the biggest growth. And this is out of Forbes, I should say that too.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was the biggest financial impact of the year was Fortnite, Candy Crush, Far Cry 5, and God of War.
Quick question. Who in the heck is still playing Candy Crush?
I don't know, man. It's
Yeah.
somebody is.
But dude, it only costs like 99 cents to get another life.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
really
gosh.
cheap. Super cheap.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that God of War is on that list, because single player narrative focused experiences are not dead. And
That's true.
I think a huge contributor to that increase is probably Fortnite. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but I think it's caused a lot of new individuals, new people to come out of the woodwork and start pumping money into this industry, because Fortnite's very accessible, and I'm sure they hooked a whole lot of whales who have put a whole lot of money into Fortnite. I know my little brother has gone out of his way to spend, I think, somewhere around like $200 just on Fortnite skins.
Jeez.
And
What?
I'm here to offset the scale in that I refuse to buy any skins in Fortnite because I don't have to. I don't care. You can naysay all you want. You can make fun of me. I've gotten made fun of on several occasions by 12-year-olds saying that I'm a no skin, and I probably suck and am an easy kill. But I'm fine just doing the default skin. I've gone down a skin rabbit hole with Counter-Strike Go, where I have at least a skin on every gun, but I haven't paid more than like 27 cents for a skin in Counter-Strike, which is nice that you can do that. Yeah, so it's just so unfulfilling getting all these skins, because I just feel like I never have, like, someone's always going to have something that's nicer than I have, and I'm not going to like be happy or be in a, satisfying position with my skins. So there's no point in me even trying with Fortnite. I don't want to have to go down that rabbit hole too. It's going to feel like a chore.
Yeah, I agree.
So you don't want the John Wick skin?
No, I did not want the John Wick skin. I've never bought a battle pass, not a single cent spent on Fortnite.
Me either.
I think I spent $5 recently.
Wow,
Really?
Karrington.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in Chicago with a couple of friends, and I was playing Fortnite with a guy, and he's like, dude, come on. Default skin, really? I'm sorry. I'm going to go get one right now.
Nice.
Was it on the Switch that you were playing it?
Yeah, I was on the Switch.
Yeah.
Cool.
I wonder, our friend Tyler from Better Than Static, I wonder how much money he spent on that game.
Yeah.
It's a good question. His streams are fantastic because I watch him play that game.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. He's way better than I am.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. So
and I know,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say real quick, like I know that whole discussion was started because of like sales and stuff. So speaking of sales,
yes.
Apparently, based on pre-orders alone, Super Smash Bros. Has beaten the top 5 games that have sold so far this year. So it's already beaten God of War. It's already beaten Far Cry 5. And it has already beaten Monster Hunter World.
That's crazy.
That is
insane. So crazy.
Especially considering Monster Hunter World and Far Cry 5 are multi-platform games.
I know.
That's
and
right.
This is just Super Smash Brothers. Well, not just Super Smash Brothers. Come on. This is Smash Brothers Ultimate.
You know what really helps with that number?
Simon Belmont.
Well, that too. But I was thinking people that bought the game twice.
I don't know what you mean. I just those people, I've heard they exist. I've never met one. That's for sure.
Well, okay.
Unless maybe you're referring to me buying it digitally and physically.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's who I am referring to.
Yeah, I can't be the only one. I know I'm not.
You're God among men, Karrington.
What would you do if you found out you are the only one? What would you?
I just go in my little corner and be like, just don't look at me, please.
Yeah.
Just don't.
You got to do it for the My Nintendo coins because you get more for the digital purchase.
That's true.
You can also pop the cartridge in there and get more.
Yeah, because you get so many coins for your purchases. You're right. Absolutely. That's the reason to do it twice.
Yep. That's exactly why I did it.
Yeah. I traded in a Switch game to GameStop because it came with my Switch. It was like Just Dance. And it came with the Switch. I just traded it in to get Binding of Isaac for free. But I made sure to slide that cartridge into my Switch. I did not play 1 minute of Just Dance, but I redeemed my Nintendo reward points and gave that useless cartridge to GameStop.
You know that that's the only game that is continues to come out on the Wii?
I know, that's insane. Yeah, that's crazy. And it comes out on the Wii U too, of course.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Who is buying Just Dance, 1, and 2, who is buying it still on the Wii for them to justify it, making it for that platform?
Yeah.
Well, I know. It must be enough. I mean, I don't know. I've never played a Just Dance game, so I can't really speak to it, so I don't know how it is. And I don't, so I don't know. There must be some parents out there that are like, oh, there's a Wii game that just came out, Just Dance. That'll get my kid off the couch and dance. I don't know.
There's like tens of thousands of Wiis out there just sitting there collecting dust, and I'm sure there's people who don't have like their hand on the pulse of the industry, so they're just gonna see this Just Dance game for Wii. I don't know that games don't set aside retail space for Wii games anymore, so I don't know where that game is gonna be bought from. But I guess never mind. My point is moot. Where are you gonna find this game?
Yeah, no, you know what? I go to Walmart and there'll be, all those Switch games, and then there'll be the one Wii game that just sits there, and it'll be Just Dance. It's really weird. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, because I think that they're just like, I don't know what to do with this. I guess we have to stock it. Well, I guess we'll put it right next to the Switch games.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Let's see. Oh, another story here. China is saying that too many kids need glasses, and they're blaming video games.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And among some of the recommendations, this is from the New York Times, by the way. Among the recommendations were controls over online gaming, and shares of video game companies fell because of that. So Konami, Bandai Namco, I can't remember some of the other ones that were listed, but including Tencent, which is listed in or is in China, I guess, a Chinese firm. Yep. So, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I thought the science community came out and said that watching too much TV or getting too close to the TV doesn't really affect your eyes. I thought
this is true.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I was about to bring that out if you didn't.
Yeah, I spend my entire life almost staring at a screen, because when I'm at work, I'm staring at a screen. When I'm playing games, I'm staring at a screen. And there's a little part of me that comes out sometimes, the little devil on my shoulder, and it's like, hey, all this screen watching you're doing could kill you, man. And I'm like, no, it's not going to kill me. I'm going to be fine. I don't need those yellow tinted glasses. I'm going to be fine.
Wait, the devil says that, not the angel?
Yeah, the devil. Because the angel's like, hey, don't worry about all the screen watching you're doing. You're doing just fine.
Enjoy your games.
Exactly.
Christian.
Wow.
And I've been playing games since I was a wee little lad, and I don't need glasses still. So I maybe I'm an anomaly according to China.
Yeah, you are.
Karrington, your eyes are gonna rot out of your skull. You gotta stop.
When you turn 30, it's gonna be all downhill, man.
Oh, jeez.
Why would you say that? I'm only 2 years away.
I know. That's why I said it.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wear glasses, but it's not because of video game playing. It's because I just need glasses because, I don't know, my mom needed glasses and I, inherited her bad eyes. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's a silly.
Wait, Roger. Are you saying that bad eyesight might be hereditary?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying that is that fake news. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like paying attention to science nowadays is considered fake news. I don't know. Whatever. It's a conspiracy. All these,
yep.
Yeah.
The chemtrails, they are screwing with our eyesight.
Yeah.
That too.
That's all I have. What do you guys have anything else?
So I mentioned earlier how I would love to live in the Destiny universe.
Yes.
So today, and today only, as of this recording, so it's too late if you're listening right now. So it is September 1st right now, and the new game mode is available for free for 24 hours only.
Oh.
And the Forsaken expansion will come out here on Tuesday, which I'm excited for as well.
Oh.
Or maybe I'm not excited because my favorite character is gone.
Yeah.
Who's also he's my father because he's my leader.
Oh.
He's been there for me. Cade 6, it is a known fact he will die.
Yeah.
And he's not coming back, and it makes me very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I am like heartbroken right now. Like I am in mourning. Like he's not even in the hub world right now either. He's gone.
Wow.
He is not there.
Jeez.
So no more Nathan Fillion.
Wow. Yeah.
That sucks.
Speaking of Destiny 2, that's actually free right now on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It is.
Well, it's going to be,
soon,
I should
right?
say. You're right.
It is. No, it is,
It is?
because I downloaded it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, wow.
It's available as of Thursday. Yeah.
Wait, is that how you
wow.
played it, Karrington? You didn't purchase it. You only got into it now.
Well, on PS.
Yes.
PS2.
On PS4.
PS4,
Yeah.
gotcha. But on Xbox?
I already own it on PC, on Xbox. Yeah. So I have it on all three systems now.
How much of it have you played, Karrington? Have you played it a lot? It sounds like the way you're talking about your armor earlier, you've been playing it a decent amount.
So I've played it mostly on my Xbox. My PC has not gotten a whole lot of love with me in Destiny because I have yet to complete it on PC.
Mm-hmm.
But on Xbox, I'd probably say I have 80 to 100 hours, I'd say.
Nice.
Which is
Wow.
that's garbage compared to my D1 stats.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That's probably similar to where I'm at. Maybe a little more. I don't know for sure. I'd have to look. But I had like level 25 all characters. I at least finished the story with all classes, and then my hunter was the one that I was actually pushing for, the one like my main character that I liked a lot. And I played it a lot. It was weird because I didn't play Destiny 1, and so I was jumping in with
Ooh.
Destiny 2, and
Yeah,
I was
me
pretty
too.
excited for it. I got it on release day, and I was having quite a bit of fun with it for a good long while. And then I got to like kind of the end game, which is weird because the whole game just kind of opens up right at the end where they're kind of just railroading you along with the story stuff until you actually get to like the actual Destiny game at the end of the story where they give you the Nightfalls and they give you the raids and they give you all that stuff. And I was like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. But I hit the soft power cap, and it was really weird because all of a sudden I didn't know what I was doing anymore because usually the game, it'll keep dropping you guns that are a little better than what you're at, a little better, a little better, a little better, and you're continuously getting a little stronger. But as soon as you hit that soft cap, then the only way you can really get weapons that are better than the ones you've got is by getting really lucky with a drop, which is not going to happen very often, or getting really lucky with a raid drop, or getting a legendary engram, and those are powerful gear. Getting those powerful gear dailies and weeklies, and that's weird. It's different.
It is certainly a grind, and it can be worth it, but I will say too, like, it's a lot of fun with friends, and that's how I play usually, is with friends. And we create all kinds of memories. It's fantastic. Yeah.
I think if you can get like 6 people together to raid, there's like no other video game experience like it. At least not in my experience. I haven't played MMOs much at all, but it's really cool how you just kind of have to really communicate very well, and you all have to work together in a very teamwork centric way, which is something that you don't see in a lot of video games anymore, where you play Call of Duty online and people just want to, mute everyone so that they can just shoot people.
Yeah, you can't do that with the raids.
No.
Which was I've never had raided before in any kind of online game or whatsoever until Destiny 1 came out, and that is some of the most fun I've ever had playing with clanmates and stuff. And trying to work together to accomplish a particular goal, or trying to help others solve a particular puzzle, or just anything like that. And plus we created our own inside memes and all kinds of stuff. It was great.
Nice. But as someone who got Destiny 2, like right when it came out, I don't know if I'm excited for this next expansion, because I know if I want to get into it, I have a character that's pretty powerful, so that's not a big issue. But I know that I'm going to have to do a bunch of grinding in order to be like a high enough level to actually compete with the likes of the people who've been like playing it ever since it came out. And I'm going to have a lot of stuff I'm going to have to learn. And in addition to that, I'm going to have to spend like $50, because the only like expansion I got was like the first little content for Mars that they put out. I didn't get the second one, and I'm going to have to get that in addition to shelling out all the cash for this new expansion. I don't know if it's worth it, Karrington.
I'm in that hole right now. I'll let you know, Christian, if it's worth it.
You should.
But I will say that the 2 like smaller expansions, as a Destiny fan, they were garbage.
They're garbage, yeah. Yeah, I did not appreciate the Mars one all that much.
No, that was that was awful. I was ashamed as a Destiny fan.
Yikes.
Ashamed and embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, sorry for the detour, Roger.
No, welcome to the Destiny Podcast. Yeah. Here we'll talk all Destiny. No, it's fine.
It's the Guardian Podcast. Thank you.
Oh, the Guardian. I'm sorry. No, I played Destiny 2. I beat the story. I beat the story mode, and and I played with some coworkers of ours, and then they stopped playing, and I stopped playing. So, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those games that it's just not fun playing by yourself. So, not as fun.
Yeah, it makes it sad that I played most of it by myself.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I just think it's not one of those experiences that are fun by myself. So,
yeah, the shooting mechanics are really great, though. Kind of unrivaled. They're very satisfying.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, I can wholeheartedly agree with that. It's some of the best shooting mechanics I've played in a while. Whether you love or hate that game, the shooting mechanics are pretty tight, and it's amazing.
Yeah. All right, that's all. Anything else do you guys have?
That's all I have.
Battlefield 5 was delayed, but there's not a lot to talk about. It got delayed.
That's true.
So that it's not going to come out in October with Red Dead Redemption and everything else in the world. So that's fine. I can wait a little longer for Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually don't buy those games at release anyway, so I can wait.
Yeah. What I really like about those games is that they come out with the DLC for free, like in waves after the fact, which is really cool. Like Battlefield 1 is approaching, like releasing all the DLC for free almost. There might be like an expansion or two that they haven't, but yeah, I really like how they do that. That's awesome. Or like they did that with like Titanfall, stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I traded in Battlefield 1.
Yeah. Fair enough, Roger.
I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
That's okay.
All right, so before we go to break, actually, what I like to do is talk about the game that we are reviewing. and that is the VideoKid.
Yeah.
Karrington, have you played this game?
Not yet, because I haven't had the time, but I've seen Kyle, my co-host, stream it on Twitch, and that game looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. Is he playing on PC then, or is he playing on the Switch? What's he playing that on?
He is playing it on the Xbox One.
Oh, Xbox.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Yep,
Cool.
I forgot that that's also there too. So yeah, this game is fantastic. Well, Christian, give your thoughts first.
Yeah, sure. I can give my thoughts first. It's really enjoyable, surprisingly so. It's very simple. It's very evocative of something like Crossy Road, but not entirely. I'm sure you'll get into this, Roger. It draws heavily from Paperboy in that you're riding a skateboard down the road and you're tossing VHSs at things. But it's very difficult. It requires a lot of trial and error memorization. But as soon as you get it down, you can finish the level in like 8-10 minutes. And it's very satisfying to just kind of learn the ropes and learn how to get through the level, learn the mechanics. And it's satisfyingly difficult, I find. I like a good challenge, a good thing that can smack me in the face when I screw up a little bit. But it makes it feel all that more satisfying when you finally make it to the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, what I love about this game, like you said, Christian, it is like Paperboy. Karrington, you played Paperboy, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It is one of my fond memories, favorite memories of playing video games at an early age.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This game will certainly bring back a lot of those memories. 'Cause yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it plays like Paperboy. The controls are a little bit, actually, I think they're better, which kind of threw me off at first because the fact that they are so sensitive compared to Paperboy. I'm like, whoa, okay, I can move a lot faster than I can in Paperboy, which threw me off a little bit when I played the first time, but I got used to it, and yeah, it's a blast. I mean, unlike Paperboy, where you have limited amount of papers you can throw, you have unlimited amount of VHSs you can throw, so it's just smashing everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing all the different 80s characters in this game, though, that's what really is the charm around this game. And each run is a little bit different. So it is, I want to say it's randomly generated, but the reason I hesitate there is because a lot of the puzzles that you run into will be the same in the same areas. So they get increasingly hard as you go along in the game. But it is a blast to see. You'll be riding your skateboard along, and then you'll see like DuckTales drive by, or you'll see E.T., Elliot with E.T. in the front of the basket, and they'll start flying. You'll see Superman run, and he'll rip open his shirt. You'll see the Baywatch, Pamela Anderson and what's his name? Hasselhoff, David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. You'll see them run by. You'll see Lethal Weapon, the characters from Lethal Weapon run by. You'll run into Alvin and Chipmunks. I don't want to name them all because I want this to be a surprise for people, because I think like I said, that's one of the charms of the game, is seeing all these characters that you see, and then also challenging because you'll see them and you're like, oh my gosh, look at that character. Oh, I got to pay attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That is the biggest issue Kyle said he had, and I could tell as he was playing it, honestly, is noticing all these references and these characters and just all these different things are going on, and you're just being so distracted in a good way, though. You're being so distracted by everything that's going on around you, you forget that, oh wait, I have to play and get to the end and meet this girl.
Yes. And then the other fun part about it too is that there's, so you're riding along the street, but then there's also 2 sewer levels as well. So you can, you'll be skateboarding along, and then you'll go down the manhole, and then you'll have to go through these 2 sewer areas, which, references turtles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't want to give away that part because the second sewer, to me, was always a struggle. Christian showed me how to get past that one part.
Yeah.
But I love this game. I was playing this game, and what the interesting thing was with this game, my kids were watching me play it, and they would be shouting out characters, and I'm like, how do you know this? They'd be like, there's Scooby-Doo. Oh my God, there's Scooby-Doo. Oh, look at there's, like the DuckTales characters. I'm like, do you guys really know this? Like, I was shocked that they knew as many references as there were.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter actually said this is the best Switch game that I own.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's high praises.
I know.
I'm not being sarcastic.
I know. It really is. She loves that game. She thinks it's such a great game, and it's so fun. Every night since we've gotten the game, and thank you, by the way, to Pixel Trip Studios for providing the review copies to us. Every night that I've been playing it, though, they'll sit down and they'll watch me play it, and they're like, oh, Dad, can you play another level? Can you just one more run, Dad? Just one more run.
Yeah, these
people wonder why something like Twitch is so popular, because you get moments like this, just in general, and some people just don't get it. There is an enjoyment getting from as a viewer watching someone else play, even if it's just within your family. It can be such a joy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. The other thing that is fun about this game, so like once you beat the level, I mean, it's just one level, so you get to your girlfriend, and that's the end of the game, and then when you beat the game, it'll post your score, and then it'll prompt you to either take a screenshot and post it on Facebook for the Switch version, and then on PC, what was they provided a code, right? Is that right, Christian?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they give you a unique code, and you can email that code to the developers, and you can get the chance to have your name up on their website, on their scoreboard.
Yeah. But I think the thing that keeps people coming back to playing that over and over is, one, just seeing all the different characters, because like I said, it's random what characters you'll be running into. The other thing is that, for a completionist, this is a game that does have unlockables, so you can unlock different skins. And then also it has different tricks that you can unlock. So the way you unlock those is through the money that you earn in the runs that you do. So that was the other thing that my kids really loved. They're like, oh, unlock the Joker. So I unlocked, that was like my first skin that I unlocked was the Joker skin, which was kind of weird, beating the game with the Joker, and the girlfriend, like, it's at the end. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, but, I just unlocked, Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. So,
Nice.
Yeah, it's a fun game. Certainly, I think the thing that this really captures is that, right now there's this wave of retro arcade type games, and I'm even part of a high score group where they play a lot of arcade games arcade style games on the Switch, and everybody in that group was really looking forward to this game too. So it's really tapping into that retro arcade style. So it's cool. I love it.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, it only takes about like 8 or 10 minutes to actually have a successful run, but that's definitely not indicative of the amount of time you're going to be spending with this game, because in the beginning, you still kind of have to get a grasp on the mechanics, because like you mentioned also, Roger, that the controls are incredibly responsive, and it's kind of like the game has a rhythm that you kind of have to get used to. Yeah. And there's like the timing of throwing your VHSs in the mailbox. The window is surprisingly small, so you have to really like get the timing down for things, figure out how you're supposed to navigate these certain puzzles, figure out how you can traverse across cars and the obstacles that end up coming your way. So I ended up spending like 3 or 4 hours with it and finished it twice, but I'm still definitely in the near future going to go back to it and just finish it again, because it's fun and it's difficult. Even though I finished it twice, it's still challenging, and I'm going to enjoy finishing it again.
Yeah. It's out on the eShop right now on Nintendo, and on Xbox One and PC as well. So go out and get those. We have a contest going on right now. We posted our high score on Twitter. And actually, can you post that on Facebook too, Christian?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
Okay. So we'll post that on Facebook and on Twitter. And if you beat the game and beat our score within a week's time, so the contest will end on I think I said 9/8. Then you get a chance to be entered into a contest to win a $20 Nintendo eShop card from us.
Nice.
Nintendo. I mean, sorry, Nintendo. North America. I don't know if there's a difference between North America and Europe with the codes for that, but it's going to be a North American, U.S. Card. So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
How much does the VideoKid cost, Roger?
I think it's $5, isn't it?
$5? Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, it is $5. So
yeah,
you're
it's a good
losing
deal.
money by not picking up the VideoKid and entering into this contest.
That's right. So there you go, Karrington. Are you going to participate?
The game is on.
There you go. That's awesome. We already have one entry already, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into the games that we are currently playing. Karrington, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're currently playing?
I am currently playing. Well, I'm currently playing Destiny 2 because I got to prepare my hunter for the upcoming, morning period I mentioned before. I'm also playing Dead Cells, lots of Dead Cells. Oh my gosh, that game is addicting.
That game's good, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. So I'm not like a roguelike fan, but there are a couple of roguelikes out there that I do like, such as Binding of Isaac and Has Been Heroes. But wow, Dead Cells is amazing. Like, wow, I did not expect this. Like this, when I first booted it up and did my first run, I was like, all right, this game seems pretty cool. I can get into this. And then before I knew it, I've got 10 hours in less than 2-3 days worth of time, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And that game is so addicting. It's so much fun, and I see why it's getting all the love that because the animations are good. I feel like every time I finish a run, I'm like, I can do better. I can do better. I know I can do better. Or like I'm trying to unlock something. I'm like I just need to play one more time, and I can unlock this thing, and then I can do a better run if I can get that item. So yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'm also playing Hiroki, which is what we are currently about to review for our show.
Oh, nice.
That's really cool.
What about you, Christian? What are you playing?
Yeah, I love to hear people talk about how much they love Dead Cells because I love Dead Cells too.
Yeah,
but I finished Yakuza 0 since we did the last podcast. And speaking of finishing games, Roger, you finished the VideoKid and the review's up at gamerheadspodcast.podbean.com. And if you click on the reviews section, you can read reviews for the VideoKid and Yakuza 0. And Yakuza 0, I loved it. Like I mentioned earlier, it took a long time to finish, and the combat, even at the end, was still my least favorite part about it. But I just loved it. There are moments at the end that rival my favorite video game moments in any video game ever. And it's so awesome. The characters are great. And I love how they set up these characters, pit them against each other, and it leads to some really satisfying moments. So I would absolutely recommend Yakuza 0, especially if you're willing to see it through to the end. Very fun time. And I'm excited to possibly in the near future get into the rest of the series. I'd like to pick up at Kiwami 1 at some point and continue Kiryu's journey and see where he ends up in the 90s. So anyways, I finished Yakuza 0 and playing a couple games for an upcoming series that we're doing, Roger, called Backlogged. So I won't be talking about that here, but I am streaming a bit on facebook.com/gamerheadspodcast. One of the games that I'm playing for the Backlog series, so feel free to check that out. And other than that, I finished Donut County. Have either of you guys heard of Donut County?
I heard of it. I have not played it.
I have heard of it.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's an indie game that just came out on PS4, PC, and Apple products on the Apple Store. And the review for that is also up on gamerheadspodcast.podbean.com. But just to summarize, I really loved it. This game's really good. This Donut County game is something you should definitely look into getting. Even if you only buy like the $5 version on iOS, I believe it's exactly the same. And it's absolutely worth $5. It's a nice, short, bite-sized experience. It takes like 3 hours to get through it. And it's kind of one of those Katamari Damacy or like Agario games where you're just a hole and then you move the hole around and you swallow stuff up and the hole gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually you're swallowing buildings and people. And yeah, the sense of humor is really great. It gels really well with kind of the tone of the visuals and the gameplay where you're just sucking these things up with the hole, and a lot of anthropomorphic animals. The thing controlling this hole is a raccoon named BK, a raccoon named BK, and he's just delivering people donuts through his donut app, but he's not really delivering donuts. He's swallowing them whole with his hole. It's very weird. It's very quirky. It's got a great sense of humor. There's a bestiary. There's like a junk, like a junk journal, and it like documents all of the things that you suck into your hole throughout the course of the game, and it has like cute little quips for everyone, which is really nice. And like, don't spoil this game for yourself. It's not very long. It's like 3 hours, and so if you're gonna play it, don't like watch someone else play it and actually pick it up yourself and experience it, because it's not long. You can pick it up, put it down. It's a great experience for kids too. It's very relaxing. There isn't a lot of challenge associated with Donut County, but it kind of strikes this kind of Zen type experience where you're just sitting there and watching the hole grow.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting game. Yeah, I don't know. It's on PS4 too, right? Yeah,
it is. I'm tempted to... I got it on PC. I'm tempted to get it on PS4 as well because it's got some good trophies.
Oh. The trophy hunter.
I must say, Christian, you had me at Katamari Damacy when you said it was like that. So I'll probably be picking this up now.
Oh, I'm happy to hear it, Karrington. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah. Let's see. For myself, I've been playing the VideoKid a lot. So that I spent a lot of time on that. And then continuing my adventures on Octopath Traveler. I know I said I was going to play some other games, but I haven't yet. I did pick up one game, though, yesterday.
Yeah.
And what might that be, Roger?
I picked up Fire Pro Wrestling.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I am a huge Fire Pro Wrestling guy. So I am super excited. I bought it last night, and I let my PS4 download it, and I have not been able to play it yet.
Oh, no.
But I am super excited about this game. Oh my gosh, it's the best wrestling game ever. I love this game so much.
I've heard very good things about this Fire Pro Wrestling world. I've heard the customization in particular is really great, which kind of harkens back to the N64 days when people would just sit there and spend 2 hours creating a wrestler.
Yeah. I wish that there was talks of somebody a campaign of trying to get this onto the Switch, because Fire Pro Wrestling, I think it started on GBA, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're correct, Roger.
And I have that game, so it's for a GBA game, it's super, all the customizations that you can do in the game is pretty amazing. So, and I had it on a PS2 as well, which was really, really fun. So I'm super excited about this game. That's all I'll be doing this weekend.
Cool.
So
you do that, Roger, and I will enjoy sleep.
There you go.
That's the spirit.
And then one last thing I do want to mention before we take a break, and then we'll get into our interview with Adam Jeffcoat. So if listeners, you want to give us feedback, we'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the show. You can do so by emailing us at info@gamerheadspodcast.com, leaving us messages on Twitter at GamerheadsPC, or on Facebook at facebook.com/GamerheadsPodcast. Phil, our friend, did give us actually some feedback. I just wanted to read this because he posted this on Twitter. I thought this was really nice. He said, we were joking back and forth, and I said that I tried to keep Karrington from singing in our last podcast.
But you can't keep me down. I'm a wild stallion.
That's
you
right.
Can't tame me.
That's right. He said it's impossible to contain you. So he did say, though, in all honesty, and that's what he said, thank you for putting out a quality and enjoyable podcast. I like the insight that you guys bring forth and the quality content you provide. Thank you again. So that was really nice. Yeah, that meant a lot. So thank you, Phil, for sending that tweet to us. That was really nice. Phil's a good guy.
I say Phil is one fantastic guy. And a great chef also.
Yeah, we're going to the Twin Cities next weekend for so maybe I'll message him and see if we can somehow meet up. But we're gonna go to the Renaissance Fair. I almost forgot what it's called. So
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm just excited about that.
Yeah, I would definitely highly recommend stopping in at Nolo's Kitchen, and it is so good there. It's all that. Oh my gosh, it is fantastic. Cool. I can't say enough good things about that restaurant. It comes with it comes highly recommended.
Nice. Yeah. We don't live that far from Minnesota. Christian, we should make a trip up there sometime.
Yeah, totally.
So, all right. Well, then let's do this. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll go into our interview then with Adam Jeffcoat from Pixel Trip Studios, makers of the VideoKid. So stay tuned.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, hey, maybe I should see what this Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage because you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode, I take a look at video games based on comic book properties and how well they stick to that source material. So, whether you know the comics and want to actually learn how these games work, or know the games and want to know what the hell is going on, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com, the Brain Trust Bros Network, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Hey, it's Karrington from Real Dudes Podcast, and with me I have some fantastic co-hosts. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
This is Andrew, coming to you from Lynchburg, Ohio.
This is Cody, coming from you also from Ohio.
And this is Kyle, coming to you straight from the armpits of West Virginia. We are an indie gaming podcast. We all share a love for games, and you can check out our show on Podbean. Just search for Real Dudes Podcast. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, really any of the podcasting outlets that you like to use. Again, that is Real Dudes Podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you love video games, you will love our show.
Do you like video games? Do you like to read? Alright, guys, I know that those two things usually don't go so well together, but my new book, The Minds Behind the Games, Interviews with Cult and Classic Video Game Developers, is kind of like an ESPN 30 for 30 collection of interviews with some of the coolest creators in video game history. We're talking iconic games, Deus Ex, Mortal Kombat, Wasteland, NBA Jam, not so iconic, E.T., Night Trap, indie games, Pro Wrestling X, Towerfall. If you love video games, you will love my book. If you know nothing about video games and want to get in the know, read my book. It's available wherever fine books are sold: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, and of course my site, patrickhickeyjr.com. It's an awesome book. I had a ton of fun writing it, and simply put, if you want to get in the know and you want to find out stuff that's not even on Wikipedia, check it out. You won't regret it.
Do you remember the days when console games were pure simple fun? No look crates, season passes or crowdfunding. You just paid for the game and it was yours to keep. You didn't have to sit through hours of boring cutscenes, and there were no loading screens to keep you from the action. At Four Horses Games, we remember those days and we aim to bring them back. Miles and Kilo, our latest release on the Nintendo Switch, is pure action from start to finish. Run, jump, slide and swing your way across 36 action-packed levels as you and your dog try to escape a haunted island, battling bosses along the way. Still need more? 20 tough achievements and a time attack mode to keep you going that extra mile. Reviewers are saying that Miles and Kilo is a must-have title. Available now on the Nintendo Switch and coming to other consoles later this year.
And welcome back to Gamerheads Podcast. Joining us now is the interview with Adam Jeffcoat, the critically acclaimed and award-winning animator, known for his work on the show Nico and the Sword of Light, and the animation director, designer, and founder of Pixel Trip Studios, the developers behind the recently released Switch and Xbox title, The VideoKid. How are you doing, Adam?
Oh, very good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on here.
Thanks so much for joining us. So, Adam, I guess just to get things kicked off, tell us a bit about yourself and Pixel Trip Studios.
So as you mentioned, I started off actually in the animation industry, I guess going back like 15 years now, where I was kind of directing animation for like Nickelodeon and and stuff. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we released a animated comic book on the iPad, which, as you mentioned, was Nico and the Sword of Light. And we obviously hired a coder to kind of come on board and help us to make the comic interactive, so the user could, press the panels and things would come to life and stuff. And so it was my first kind of taste into, I guess, into kind of gaming, to have a sort of interactive sort of element. And after that project was finished, I was like, oh man, that was really fun. Like it kind of got me thinking more about games, and I'd always loved animation, but I also always loved games and how they kind of immerse you in the world. So I started talking to the coder and said, if I come up with some ideas, do you want to work on a game? And he agreed. So that's kind of how we got started.
Nice.
That's crazy. What made you kind of want to get into animation?
I think there's two reasons. One was that I hated studying, right? Like I just, and whenever I went to art class and we had to draw, I was like, this is awesome. This doesn't feel like work. So I love that side of it for a start. And animation's never felt like a job to me. So to be paid to do something you love is obviously great. But I think right from as early as I can remember, I was fascinated with Disney, the old Disney films, the old the Warner Brothers, like the Roadrunner, Tom and Jerry, all those kind of old cartoons. I just remember I just absolutely loved them, watched them over and over again. But I don't think I ever actually realized that someone was behind the screen drawing those things and making them. It's like as a kid, you just kind of take it for granted that it just sort of appears on your screen. And it was only probably good when I was about 18 years old that I went over to Canada to visit my cousins, and my aunt, knowing that I loved animation and art, she took me to this college called Sheridan where they had a really good animation program. And I literally walked in there and saw the drawings on the walls and all the stuff these students were doing. And I was just like, this looks amazing. I want to do this. And that was really.
Yeah, that sounds
awesome.
really cool. Jeez.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Adam, you mentioned earlier that you kind of really liked video games, and that's an industry you kind of wanted to take part in. What exactly made you want to get into video games? Because I can imagine it's not just, a flip of the switch, I'm going to get into video games now. Was there something that kind of inspired you to get into them? And then how is like the animation creation process different on the video game side as it is on like the other animation side?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think the one thing that always stood out to me in games, and this kind of goes back to, I remember sitting on my Amiga playing Secret of Monkey Island like for weeks and weeks, after school. And the thing I think that I loved about games was the fact that they, in films and in animation, you're sitting back and you're watching the characters, but in games, you are the character, you are the main character. So the fact that you get kind of pulled into this, imaginary world, and like in Monkey Island, for example, where you get to become a pirate, and you're going through all the trials, and it was all done in this real sort of magical way. I think that always fascinated me, and that was probably the big pull with games. I love the idea that you through problem solving, you're creating puzzles and things for players to kind of solve. There was something really intriguing about that for me. And then in terms of getting into, so you were saying the difference between animation for games?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd say there's a lot to it, but I would say the main thing is that when you're animating for, cartoons and stuff, you have a very specific goal in mind. It's all been planned out. You've got storyboards, and your job is really just to make the character come to life and, be convincing to the audience and acting out a scene or a bit of dialogue. Whereas with games, you're having to create, move sets for the character to be able to move freely around the world. So it's slightly more technical, I would say. Like with the VideoKid, we had, there's like a 10-minute long reel of him performing all of his moves, his jumps, his turns, his kick flips and stuff. So you're just kind of piecing together lots of little movements to seamlessly have the kid move around the screen. So it's much less about acting, if you like, and more about convincing movement. That's I would say that's probably the main difference.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a little more difficult? Is that a more time-intensive or labor-intensive process?
Not necessarily. No, I'd say so. You have to be better at movement, like, because especially with something like the VideoKid, where it's a very dynamic thing, where you're skateboarding around and jumping all over the place. You got to have, the guy who we hired to do the animation, he was an ex-skater, as a guy from California, and
oh, cool.
That was one of the reasons why we hired him, because we could tell that he was animating that kid, doing those moves with a real sense of how they work. So it kind of looked a lot more convincing. So I think that's important, that when you're animating for games and stuff, like let's say you're animating a Street Fighter or something, where you've got, a character performing, kung fu moves, you kind of got to have knowledge of that to be able to pull that off and make it seem convincing. Whereas with like animated, say, movies and stuff, you're more going for the acting, and you're more kind of trying to convince the audience that your character's sort of real and living, breathing, and really thinking those, and saying those lines.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I didn't realize how much goes into that, and it's funny because as a player, like, I mean, I thought like, wow, these moves are really cool, but I never thought of the fact that, yeah, you had to like get somebody that knows skateboarding and be like, this is how the trick is supposed to look.
Yeah, because you kind of, I always was imagining that you get all these like diehard skaters writing in, being like, what? That's not how you do an ollie. The back leg goes down first or something. But actually, no one's mentioned it, which I guess is a good thing, because then you need this convincing. But yeah, I think it's important to just have knowledge of what you're animating, so you can, because essentially you're tricking the audience, right? So, so if you've got good knowledge of what it is you're animating, you can successfully trick the audience.
And one thing I loved about the animation too is just the fact that when you hit something, and just the mechanics behind that. I don't know. I actually found that quite enjoyable to watch. To watch me hit like a car, and like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was actually something we that was one of the reasons why we actually made the game in 3D, because my background was all in 2D, like hand drawn animation, and this was the first time I'd really worked on a 3D project. But the big reason why we chose to make the game in 3D was when we were doing some tests early on. One of the things that I had kind of read about when I was researching games was that it's really important that the death scenes are really satisfying for people, because you're going to be dying a lot, right? So you have to make cool and very very repetitive sort of death sequences that are going to keep people entertained. And it was only when we actually made the kid in 3D and applied just what you're saying, the sort of ragdoll physics, where he would just flip up in the air and just get smashed by all these cars, that we were like, yes, this is it, because now he can die in like 1,000 different ways, and the physics just kind of handles it. Like he can get like bashed left, right, up, down, eaten by things, run over, and you get a different result every time. So that was quite a key point for that.
Nice. So it's obvious that obviously you're inspired by arcade games and retro games, and there seems to be almost a resurgence in those style of games. What do you think the appeal is to the retro style games, and what made you decide to pursue this game in like a retro style game versus like maybe, I don't know, like maybe something a little bit more modern with the graphics?
I suppose. So I personally play both. Like I play kind of retro, sort of more indie games, and I probably play, some AAA games as well. But I think there's something about retro games to me that seem more pure in a way. Like the gameplay mechanic tends to be purer. I think because the AAA games these days tend to be just so jam packed with like crazy detail. There's like tons of stuff going on. There's amazing graphics, amazing effects, and you're almost now playing almost a realistic movie with the latest consoles, the technology they have. But what I love about like the old school games was they didn't have any of that. So it's like, because they were so limited with their graphics, I think it forces you to think, well, we can't do too much with the graphics, so we have to make the gameplay as good as we can, and you know, and it has to be super fun and very addictive. So for that reason, I think restriction in that aspect is actually a good thing. You know, it's forcing you to put the time where it should be spent. And it's the same argument with movies, right? I'm sure you guys agree. Like when you go to the cinema these days and you just watch 2 hours of explosions, and you walk out and you've had an experience, but you didn't really emotionally connect with anything.
Yeah.
And for me, games it's the same kind of thing. Like I remember loving Super Meat Boy for that same reason. It was like it's just very simple mechanic, but incredibly addictive, and it just proves, you know, hands down that it's, you know, that it's not graphics that sells games. It's the actual playability aspect of it.
Yeah. And I will say I connected really well with this game, not only just because of the retro style and the arcade style, but also just all the references were great.
Thanks. Yeah, it was definitely, it was really, you know, the idea I think was just to take people back to their childhood, you know.
Yes.
That was what I was going for.
Nice.
That's awesome. Adam, as an animator, what are some of the things that you find the hardest to animate, like movements and stuff like that? And then what are some challenges that you faced specifically because of the blocky and voxel-based nature of the VideoKid's visuals?
Okay, so in terms of animation, I would say realism is tough. Like, you know, the more realistic you get with your characters, the harder they are to animate. So something like, say, Bugs Bunny, for example, I would find it a lot, you know, I'm not saying that's easy, but it would be easier for me to animate than, say, a very realistic character, you know, like human or sort of human sort of scale and stuff, like, I don't know, Prince of Egypt or something like that, or, you know, so it's really down to detail. And also kind of like what I was saying before with the skateboarding, if you don't have knowledge of how something moves, like if I had to animate a scene with a horse in it, for example, I would have to spend a lot of time studying, you know, horses and the way they run, and, you know, the way their feet kind of move together in rhythm and stuff to make that convincing. So it's really, animation is, you know, it's something that you can only really do if you have good knowledge of what you're trying to produce. Sorry, what was the second part of the question?
The second part was with kind of how blocky and voxel based the visuals and engine of the VideoKid is. Were there any challenges in the animation department that you had to overcome because of that?
Yeah, so initially my idea was that I wanted to kind of animate everything almost like the old school pixel animation, where it would just move in kind of chunks. Like it wasn't like in between, if you like. They would just pop into different poses. But when we tried to actually reproduce that, it just looked really clunky, and we found it very hard to get kind of dynamic poses. So the animator at the time, the guy I told you who was from California, the skateboarder, he suggested we actually put a rig in it, which, for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of like an invisible skeleton, and that connects all the pieces of the VideoKid's body, like the arms and the legs and everything. And then you can move them around almost like a puppet and animate them like that. And then that actually worked a lot better. In terms of the one of the challenges, another thing which kind of hit us was I built everything in the game out of voxels, as you say, with this program called Cubicle, which is kind of almost like a little Lego building software for making voxel graphics. But so that literally meant that the whole game was built, you know, cube by cube, like every house, every character, every car, which was awesome because it meant it gave us a lot of freedom. But what I didn't think about, probably being as this is my first game and I don't have too much experience, was that every single one of those voxels would have to be processed by the computer as it's obviously moving past in the street. So the first builds we had of the game were like so heavy, they would just crash everything. Like we even had a build on a phone at one point, which would run so hot that it would burn people's hands while they were trying to play it. Yeah, like I've never known a phone to actually like heat up to the point where you couldn't hold it until. Yeah, it was amazing. So we had to do a ton of stuff to like cut back the detail, like as a result of that. So I'm not sure in hindsight how good a move it was, but I think it looks nice.
Yeah, it does. And I will say it's amazing because that you said that, because there are some parts in the game as you go on farther in your run that are just, there's so much going on. and and it's like it's distracting in the sense that like I want to watch what's going on, and I'm like, oh, I got to pay attention. I'm playing a game.
Oh, totally, yes. So many people have said that. They said they can't, they're like right in the middle of like, jumping from a car to a bench, and they spot like some character from the 80s and they freak out and just crash right into it. It's almost like some people have said to me when they're playing the game, they had to go through enough times so they kind of recognize all the references and then try and focus on beating the game. Because they couldn't really do this, both at once.
Yes.
That's hilarious. So, Adam, from a design perspective, how did you kind of combine the sensibilities from both retro games and also more modern and contemporary games for the VideoKid?
So yeah, I would say that's probably the reason why we chose to use voxels. When I look back at all the old games, and obviously Paperboy, which was a huge influence on this game, all of those were obviously created with pixel graphics. And we thought about doing that, but then, as I said, like the 3D option seemed better, both in terms of animation and for the way the kid would crash, but also even just to show him skateboarding and having the 3-dimensional moves on the skateboard and stuff. So voxels kind of felt like the perfect choice because they still kind of look like pixels when you look at them from a certain angle. So it creates that kind of blocky look, but yet it's kind of a modern version of that. I think it was actually Crossy Road that when I saw that come out, and I thought actually that's perfect because it does give that retro feel, and it's really nice and fun and colorful and simple, but at the same time, I think it would appeal to even sort of kids of today as well.
Yeah, I will say my kids love this game. I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they always ask me to play this. They call it the skateboard game. Play the skateboard game, Dad.
Right.
Play the skateboard game. But it's fun to hear them talk about. I mean, they recognize some of the references as well too, and I'm like, wow. Like I was surprised first of all that they were able to recognize that. And then the second thing is my daughter, and I think this is a big praise. She said this is the best game I have on a Switch. So.
Oh wow, that's awesome! Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, obviously, in a way, our target market was pretty clear in this. It was for people who grew up in the 80s. But it's funny you say that because when we did some testing, we had a whole range of different ages, and the ones that actually loved the game the most was these like 7-8-year-old kids. And they would literally fight over the controller, and they were like, became obsessed with like finishing the game. Like we had to literally pry it out of their hands because it was almost like they couldn't leave without reaching the kid's girlfriend. And on top of that, it seemed like they really enjoyed, causing destruction, like smashing windows and mail, trash cans and stuff, which is probably getting it out of their system.
Yeah.
So. What were some of the challenges that you had then incorporating some of the icons from the 80s?
So what one of them was just trying to fit them all in there. I mean, when I actually started going back and researching, I mean, a lot of them I just obviously had firmly in my memory and knew I wanted them in there, but I did a bunch of research, went back like the top 100 80s movies, and I just wanted to get everything in there because there was so much good stuff back then, the cartoons, the TV shows, the movies. There was just so much good content. But one thing that we realized is that it had to sort of fit in with the actual style of the game. Like we could only really have characters that were able to either walk down the street or drive down the street towards you. And one of the movies, which is probably in my, I think it was made in the 70s, was Jaws. Even though, Jaws 2, Jaws 3 was probably 80s. But I really wanted to get that in there, but we just couldn't think of a good way to get a shark in a urban neighborhood. Even in the world of animation, it just seemed far-fetched. So actually what I did was there's in about halfway through the game, you pass an old cinema. And on the sign at the top, it says now showing Jaws. So that was my way of kind of paying homage to that movie, at least.
Yeah. Nice. You didn't want to add a tornado with sharks in it?
Yeah, that maybe for the sequel, that would be good.
Well, then speaking of which, will there be additional content added to the game via DLC, and is there plans for a sequel to this game?
Oh yeah, there's so much stuff we love to do. I mean, really, this is kind of, if you like, the arcade version of the VideoKid. We'd love to do a level-based version, which is obviously more like Paperboy. We have to gain subscribers and kind of conquer the street, which was, why I always loved that game. So that's definitely one thing we'd like to do. There's a ton more references which we would like to get in there too. But if the game, does perform well, and we get the chance to do a sequel, then I'd already sort of planned out that it would be a 90s edition.
Nice. Cool.
And probably Super VideoKid or something like that to pay heart to the old Super Nintendo. But yeah, just everything in there would then be 90s references, because there's obviously so much amazing stuff from that era too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm hoping that happens, because that would be really cool.
Me too. Just to get the first Bel Air in there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what direction you guys go with the VideoKid, because a lot of the first few hours that I was playing it, I felt like those little kids that you were describing. I didn't want anyone to bother me. I wanted to finish this darn game that kept on smacking me. Kept smacking me and punishing me, but I wanted to make it to the end.
That's good. That's good to know.
So the other thing that we got going on then, because of the game, we wanted to run a contest. So right now, if you have the game, we have a score that we have posted out on our Twitter. And then if people beat that game or beat the game and beat our score, they can actually be entered in to win a $28 US dollar, a North American eShop card for Nintendo. And Adam, now you talked about maybe adding another prize.
I did, yeah. So I've just finished designing a VideoKid T-shirt, which we were going to give away to the winner of the contest as well. So a bit of added incentive for you guys.
Yeah. So the top scorer will win the T-shirt, and then anybody that beats the game and beats our score is entered in for the drawing for the eShop, a Nintendo eShop card. So, yeah, that's so cool. I'm excited that we're working on this together. So we'll be posting tonight when this show airs, and I'll also post the scoreboard too. So we updated that, so that will be out there.
Yeah, so we got a top 5 scoreboard, like the old school arcades, to show who's got the leading score at the moment. And we've also listed if they are Xbox or Switch players. So see which console performs the best.
Yeah. Right now, Switch players, come on, where are you?
I know. Yeah, Xbox is leading 4-1, so you've got to get some Switch guys.
Yeah. Actually, the Switch guy got kicked off. So,
oh no.
Yeah.
Xbox is sweeps it. Okay.
Yeah. So that will be posted tonight. So yeah, if you have the game, if you don't have the game, go and get this game. You will really enjoy it. It's so much fun. It's on Nintendo and Xbox and also PC as well. So go out and get that game. Adam, how can people get a hold of you if they want to follow what projects you're working on?
So you can check out our studio website, which is pixeltripstudios.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is just @pixeltripstudio with no S on the end. So at pixeltripstudio. And then follow the Facebook page, which is just VideoKid game. So yeah, you can see sort of news and follow all the stuff we're doing on there.
Nice. Perfect. Nice. Well, thank you so much, Adam. Thank you for your time. And yeah, we really enjoyed this game.
Oh, that's great. That's good to hear, guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And the contest will run until the 8th of September, so you still have some time. You've got 1 week to go out and get the game if you don't have it already and join. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for listening, Gamerheads, and Gamerheads out.